Hi, this is Cousin Russ, another one of my series of office hours. Just my usual beginning. Let me know where you're viewing this from, and if you are a user of the Family Tree Maker program. One other comment is that in the office hours playlist description, I put a bunch of information about what I'm trying to do. Uh, and let you know that if you subscribe to this channel and turn the notifications on, you will be notified that I am going live. I try to give a couple hours of lead time. I was not able to do that today, for which I'm sorry. And I see nobody's watching live, but that's okay. I'm going to go continue with uh, what I have been doing, and let me get my presentation going and get myself off the image. So here we go. I am talking about Family Tree Maker, and I'm talking about the workspace rules that I have established. Um, Today I'm going to talk about the Web Search Workspace. So here's my agenda for today. This series came out from a comment that was left on one of the earlier recordings, and the viewer said, I would be interested in hearing more about your rules and the tasks. What are they and why? Hopefully, I have been answering them as I go along. I've been going along workspace by workspace as those large tabs that usually are orange across the top of Family Tree Maker. As I go along, I will share some tips and tricks uh, in various workspaces. And keep in mind that what I am sharing is has two things in mind: what I want to see and what I want others to see. Family Tree Maker has a bunch of features, and I try to use them and keep them in mind in whatever I do, and especially these rules, because uh, those last three items are how I created some of the rules. And as I mentioned, I see that somebody's watching. Please let me know where you're watching this recording from, or actually, I am live right now, and so I'm recording this live. It'll be available as soon as I'm done for watching later. So these are my family file rules. And before the series is done, uh, you will see why I have these rules and how that I make sure I keep up with the rules. So I have at least two more recordings uh, already to will be ready to go over the next day or two. Uh, but try them out. Leave a question if you're uh, watching and have a question as I go along. Don't hesitate to ask because I am watching your comments and I will bring them in as appropriate. So here is the web search workspace that I'm going to talk about. This is what it looks like. If you, Hi June, good to see you. Hope you are healing quickly. So good afternoon to you, June. So the web search workspace, I have followed a hint from within Family Tree Maker on a profile, and it would take me to this screen with there's a record that's highlighted, uh, and information about that record are in the lower left, and the lower left is the my data. The lower right is the data from the record that is highlighted. I'm not going to go into detail about that because I'm just going to talk about rules. I have blogged about how I do a web merge, and I've done a couple of them in the past already. Not my purpose for this presentation. So if I follow the hint, this is the screen I will end up if I choose to do a search for someone in my database rather than following a hint. If I click on the Web Search Workspace, I will come to this screen. Now, you will notice that some of the fields are already populated from my database. When I go from the person, uh, from the profile into uh, the Web Search Workspace and click on New Search, this screen will be populated. Now, there's another feature about the Web Search Workspace that some people don't uh, know about, and that is you can create your own websites to search from. Like in this example, I have Ancestry, Family Search, and Roots Web. I could have, in fact, in my working database, I have Find a Grave as a website that I can go to and search from, and it will take you. If I click on one of these links, it'll take me to the search engine for that website. Hi, John T. Watching from Alexandria, Virginia. A lot going on in DC these days, I can tell. So this is the Web Search Workspace, two different views, but here are my rules. I want to get to my rules. The reason why this workspace is so important for me, it may not be for you, for me, is that I use any online data that I bring into Family Tree Maker, I am going to do it from the Web Search Workspace and using the Web Clipper, and I'll spend a minute on that one. But I do most all the online data input I get from the Web Search Workspace, and I'll show you why. I carefully review the facts that are in my database and from the website. 2 screens ago, I showed you that. Didn't go into detail, but I review the facts that are presented uh, before I do anything. I review the data that's going to be merged, and I'm not going to demonstrate that today. I have demonstrated in the past and will probably in the future, but I carefully review the data that is presented. The next thing is that all of the citations that I will come across in a web merge, I will reformat in using the source template feature of Family Tree Maker. When I do a merge, the very next thing that I do is work on that citation. I don't want to forget where the data came from, and I'm going to use the source template feature within Family Tree Maker. Once I've done that piece, and that probably takes most of the time, then I will go and review all of the profiles that may have been involved in that web merge. Profile meaning some person. What I'm going to do now is demonstrate the web search, the web clipper using the Web Search Workspace from the Find a Grave website. So there is the Find a Grave website, a memorial for one of the people that I have researched. And there is a memorial, then you can't see it, it's there. It's in red, but it's not totally obvious, but that's not important. Here's the information that Family Search has given me is on the screen. Now, I would have gotten to this screen from the Ancestry Find a Grave index. I do that first. Why? I just something that I like to do, and It has helped me in the past because I've had some of these memorials get moved or changed or deleted. But because I do what I do now that I want to demonstrate, I always start with the index record from Ancestry. I will complete that task of merging from Ancestry. And then at some point in time, and I don't necessarily do them in sequence, I will do a couple of indexes, then I'll go do several Find a Grave memorials. I, so it's not just do one and then do the next. I'll do a series. So I get in the habit and I don't have to think so much. So there's the memorial, and you'll see in the lower right-hand corner an icon that looks like a pair of scissors. When I click on that, that the enables the web clipper. And here is how the web clipper works. I've highlighted his name, just ran my cursor from John to the N and held my mouse down while I did that. When I do that, when I release my mouse after highlighting that information, this pop-up window shows up. And what the pop-up window is saying, where do you want this information that's in the web clipper? I want it in the name fact. I would go down to the birth date and the death date and the cemetery where the person is uh, buried, and I will highlight each of those items and put them in the correct fact and field of the fact. Like the birth year is the only thing that's showing up. So I would select birth, highlight that date. I would select birth, and the window would say date, and that information would end up in there. So that's the birth, death, and burial information that I have. Hi, Bennett from Arkansas. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions as I go along, please put them in the comments. So there's one other item on that screen that I want to capture, and that is the Find a Grave memorial number. You'll see it just above the word insert fact. I have that information highlighted with my cursor, and the pop-up window says insert fact because it's not one of those facts that I have listed. And this window to the left is the pop-up window that says, okay, what fact do you want me to use for the information that you have on the web clipper? And I want that information in a fact in this database called Find a Grave. Now, so I've got the web clipper used. Now I want to review what I have, and the next screen that you will see gives me exactly what I have taken from the website, in this case, Find a Grave, and it shows me what I have captured that will be merged into Family Tree Maker. Now, the reason why I do that, and I'll talk about it a little bit later, is that I want exactly what came from the record. This is my person, there's no doubt about it, but I want exactly what is on that record, in this case, the Find a Grave website. I want exactly what is in the record in my database. Now, on the right of that screen, you'll see a pencil and a red X. I could edit the text. I could delete the text from those items on the right. I choose not to do that work here. I will review the data, as I said a few minutes ago. I will review the data in the profile and do all the editing in Family Tree Maker, not in the merge. Here's why I go to that. It's not extreme to me, it's my way of working. But here is why I do what I have just tried to explain. There is the sources workspace. I've already talked about my rules about the source workspace, but down here are those fields that were merged when I clicked on the merge button. This is where it ended up in a citation. The facts that were on the previous screen are now within Family Tree Maker. What I do now, as I mentioned, is I put it into the source template feature, and I have a source template, and I talked about that before, for the Find a Grave as a compiler. And basically what I do now with the sources feature within Find a Grave, I can almost paste that data from the citation from Find a Grave into the citation detail. When I talked about the sources workspace, I said there, I explained more detail about what is in those fields. What is this encircled in blue is the citation. So I have the name and the birth and death date and the Find a Grave memorial number and the date that I accessed that information. The next field under it, which is not highlighted nor circled, are information that I put in there for my purposes. It's my play area, but it's some notes like that memorial was created by somebody and when. That is what I put in that field. I used to do my Find a Grave memorials by the creator of the memorial. I have changed how I do Find a Grave, and I've blogged about this on my blog, which is the link that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I don't, my citation is from the website Find a Grave as the compiler of the database, which it is. But I had the compiler as a citation before I learned and used the source template feature, but I had it already, but I just moved it from the citation information down into the citation text for just in case I ever wanted it. And the good thing that I've done that because, as I said earlier, some memorials have been taken down. There was one point in time when I lost about 50 Find a Grave citations because the person who owned those memorials removed them from the Find a Grave website. I didn't delete those citations because at some point in time they may reappear, and in most cases they did. The next most important piece about the screen is that URL, the link that was from the website that I merged, is in the web address. Now that web address is not used in a citation, and I've talked about that before. It's not, the full web address is not in the citation. Only findagrave.com is in the citation. But that globe at the right-hand end of that screen is the link that will take me back to that memorial. And because I did a web merge, there's a second link to the Find a Grave website, that link that I just looked at. So couple takeaways that I'll leave with you is that I use the web merge feature. I start from hints, or if there's a specific website that I want to search on, I go to the Web Search Workspace, use the web clipper when it's not Ancestry, and bring the data in. The biggest reason that I do that, it saves me typing. It saves me for mistyping, which is more the case. Uh, but I want to look, I want to see the data exactly the way it was presented to me from the website. So if you've already let me know where you're viewing from, I appreciate that. And let me know if you're a user of the Family Tree Maker program. And I have some detail in the playlist description for office hours, what I'm trying to accomplish. And if you subscribe to this channel and turn notifications on, you will be notified when I go and do some live streaming. I appreciate your time and for watching. And if you have any questions, I will end the broadcast in a minute in case somebody has a question they want to ask. I've got 2 more of these videos to do, and I'm probably going to do a live demonstration of some of the rules that I have laid out in this series and how I use them. So thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it, and have a great day.